Hi, and thanks for coming to my channel. I'm your Everyday Joe. In today's video, I'm going to be making creamy cheesy mashed potatoes baked in the Ninja Foodi. So stay tuned.
If you want to show support to this channel, be sure to click the subscribe button. And to stay up to date on new content, when we release it, ring the notification bell. Now let's get into the video.
The ingredients we're using for the creamy cheesy baked mashed potatoes are a couple pounds of russet potatoes, cleaned and peeled. We're going to be using some Philadelphia cream cheese. I'm using the whipped version of the cream cheese. Some chopped dill, Mexican blend of cheeses, 4 cheeses, of cheddar cheeses and Monterey Jack, fresh chopped mozzarella cheese, about a tablespoon of ranch dressing mix, a tablespoon and a half of chopped green onions, half a tablespoon of garlic powder, a tablespoon of butter, a teaspoon of black pepper, and we'll add salt as we need it. So first thing we're going to do is take these russet potatoes. I've already washed them. I'm going to peel them up and cube them up, probably about 1 inch to 2 inch squares. We want to keep them roughly around the same size. I've got about maybe 2 pounds of potatoes here. We're going to put about half a cup of water in our foodie. Anytime you pressure cook, you want to make sure you get some liquid in there that'll help build up that steam. So we're going to do some quick work on these potatoes. Okay, now that was pretty quick work here, huh? Everything should be that quick. So we're going to take these cubes, and I've cut them about an inch, inch and a half, maybe 2 inches at the most. So we want to kind of keep them around the same size so they cook evenly all at the same time. So I'm going to take these cubed potatoes and just put them right into the basket. I've already added about a half a cup of liquid in there, water. Okay, so I've put the potatoes into the basket here, into the wired basket, which has this diffuser in. It's sitting above the liquid. So we're going to pop that in there. We're going to use our pressure lid. We're going to line up the arrows, make sure it's pushed down so it's seated. And we're going to just lock it in place. Turn the power on, go to pressure on high for 2 minutes. Want to make sure the lid seal is on seal, the valve is on seal. Okay, then we hit the start button. Okay, so now this is probably going to take about 5 or 6 minutes for the pressure to build up and the valve to close, the little red button valve here to close. So once that happens, then the timer will start. And again, it's only going to be 2 minutes. And we're going to do a quick release when that's over, which is basically just open up the valve, let the steam escape. A natural release would be just let it sit there and come to temperature on its own. So when we're done with that, I'll bring you back and we'll continue on with the next step of making these creamy mashed potatoes. So I'm just going to chop up some of this dill here. See, I'm a lefty. So just going to take a little bit off here, just here. Take out some of the big branches. I don't want the big branches in here. You can just scrape that off. Okay, and it smells awesome. This dill is really, really fragrant. So I'm just going to give it a quick chop. Okay. Yeah, I want it kind of fine because I want it to be able to spread it within the mashed potatoes a lot easier. Okay, so that's good here. Take out that branch. Just want it a little thinner. Okay, so as you can see, it sets itself on warm. It took about a minute and a half or so to release all the pressure. So now that the pin has gone down, I use a towel on top of it just so it doesn't spray all over the countertops and all your cabinetry if you have it underneath the cabinet. So now it should be safe to open. All right, yeah, you see all that steam escaping. Okay, just put that aside. We want to make sure that the potatoes are all done. So You can see, I mean, the knife just goes through them. They're like, you know, real soft. They're like buttery. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these hot potatoes out of the basket because we're going to need to get rid of that liquid. Otherwise, your air frying is not going to crisp up the top. We want the top to be nice and crispy, or at least nice and toasted a little bit. So we're going to dump that into this bowl. Put the basket aside, and I'm going to dump the liquid. You can hear the release on the switch. So dump the liquid, put the container back, put the pan back. So now we're going to start adding some of the seasoning here. So first thing I want to do is add the butter. That way it melts in there nicely. Okay, also I'm going to take, I don't know, maybe a couple tablespoons, and this is whipped Philadelphia cream cheese with chive. You can get any flavor you want. If you don't have cream cheese, you can also use a little bit of mayonnaise. That tends to work pretty well too. So put maybe a tablespoon, a couple tablespoons of that in there. Okay, put some pepper in there. Hold off a little bit on that. We don't want it too peppery. We can always add more to the top. The garlic. And the ranch dressing powder. This is the powder you get in the little packets, or if you can get the shaker container, which is the one I use, that gives it a nice flavor if you like ranch dressing on your vegetables. So put that in. I'm going to throw some of these green onions in there, so when we go mashing away, everything gets incorporated. I'm going to hold off a little bit on the cheese because I want to get a nice mash first, and then get some of this fresh Arrow Garden dill in there. It's just, you know, it's so fragrant. It's fantastic. So I'm just going to give that a quick mix here just to get it started, get everything kind of coated and incorporated. Okay. So make sure we get that all in there. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit of milk in there. Got about 2/3 of a cup here. Probably not going to need all of it because the cream cheese is going to help with that. So we're going to take our handy dandy potato masher and get in there and just start going to town with this thing. And usually, I mean, what I'm doing, I'm just mashing them up. You can keep it lumpy if you want. I'm going to go for a smoother consistency, only because it'll be nicer when it gets all stringy and all. So it'll come out really nice that way there. So I'm going to add a little bit more of milk. Just so we can get it nice and creamy and almost like a whipped consistency is what we're looking for. Again, if you like yours more lumpy, that's fine. Or if you want to use a hand blender or anything like that, that's up to you. That's your call. Okay, looks like we're pretty much there. You can see, I mean, they're nice. So we're going to add our cheese. I'm going to save half of this for the top, or some of it for the top afterwards, because I want that nice and cheesy and browned. And all this mozzarella chopped, I'm putting all that in there because I want that to melt nicely on the inside there. All right, so let's just mix it up. We just want to get it nice and incorporated. Okay, we're almost there. I mean, if you look at it, it's just creamy. I mean, you can eat this right here, right now. I mean, it's fantastic. So just going to clean that up. And what we're going to be using, I'm going to be using this this grill rack here. I'm going to put it in upside down like this with the taller end facing the heater, and I'm going to stick that in there because I want it to be up off the base because it is already cooked. All we're trying to do is kind of melt in the cheeses in there. And I'm going to be using this. This is about a 7 or 8 inch pan. It's a restaurant type pan. You can find it at most supermarkets. Some of them have them. I found this one here at an Asian food market. They tend to use these for for your Chinese foods in the restaurants. So I'm going to take all of this and I'm just going to get it all in there. It's okay if it's a little more. It's all going to the same place. It's all going to melt nicely. So let's get that all in there. And you can see the cheese is already starting to melt. It's already getting all gooey and delicious. Okay, so I'm going to just pack that in there. Make sure nice and flat. Almost like a pie. This is basically a nice side dish that you can make. Not that you can't have it all. Hey, go for it. All I'm doing here is just tapping the spatula to the top and kind of pulling away. That's going to give it some peaks on the mashed potatoes. And when it air fries, it's going to give you those little crispy edges. Okay, I'll just put that aside here. Now we're going to take the remainder of the cheese and just get that all inside those peaks and everywhere we can fit it. And because there's a fan in the air fryer, or the air crisp is what they call it in the foodie, you want to make sure you tap everything down, to kind of embed to the top a little bit. Okay, and you can kind of poke at it a little bit with your fingers like this. That'll also give it some peaks. Okay, like that. Okay, we're going to give it some of this green onion to the top. Okay, again, just packing it in. Just want to get it, just so it gives it a little bit of peak. All right. So now, because this is that size, and I've pre-measured this before, I've made this before, I know it's going to fit in there. If your air fryer doesn't have that, you can just put it into the basket if it fits, or just get a bowl or a heat-resistant bowl that you can fit in there. So let's put that in here. Okay. You can see that it sits in there nicely. I could probably go with a little bit bigger one, but this one here is perfect for 2 people. It's fantastic. If you're baking for more, you can actually just use the bottom of this pan. This is, you'll make a ton of it. So we're going to get the air fryer going. I'm going to close the lid. Okay, we're going to turn it on. Go to the Tender Crisp menu here. And select Air Crisp. That's 390. We're going to bump that up to 400. That's as high as it goes. The time to 10 minutes. Okay, and we're going to start it up and let it go. Okay, so let's open it up. It just finished. Wow, take a look at this. Nice, nice. This is nice and toasted. Yeah, you can hear a little crisp. So it's nice and crispy on the top. So we're going to pull this thing out here. Just going to place it here for now, as it's still very hot. It just ended here. Let's close that. So you can see it looks really nice. It's really nice here. So what I'm going to do is just add some more of this freshly chopped dill. Again, just to freshen it up a little bit. Okay. And some of this chopped onion. The remainder of the chopped onion. So you can see it looks really, really nice here. So we're going to dig into this. I'm going to grab a spoon. Okay, so let's give this a taste here. This is just out of the oven here. So, I mean, look at this. I mean, it's just fantastic. I mean, look at that cheese. Wow, huh? That's nice. It's probably still very warm. Look at that. That's really good. Really good. So you can see all the cheese just hanging off. See all the cheese just hanging off there. That's fantastic. Oh, that's really good. And the crust gives it a nice little texture difference here, because you have a nice crispy crust at the top, almost like a potato chip. Ranch with that ranch dressing in there. And you can season it any way you want, but this way here is really nice. And what did it take? About 15 minutes with the foodie. just pressure cooked it for 2 minutes, and then about 10 minutes in the air crisp, just to crisp out the top and to melt the rest of the cheese. And here you have your cheesy, creamy mashed potatoes baked in the Ninja Foodi. So if you give this a shot, you'll let me know. Put some comments down. Also, check out some of these other videos here on the channel that YouTube's going to put up here. If you like what you see, go ahead and give it some thumbs up. Some comments on the bottom. Check out some other videos from our playlist on the side here. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you like what you see here on the video. Let us know. We appreciate all the support we get from our viewers and subscribers. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.